Hi, I'm Eve. I'm doing archaeology at UCL, archaeology anthropology at UCL, and I'm approaching my second year in London.
I'm Vanessa and I'm studying fine art at Goldsmiths. This is my first year in London.
When I met Ben for the first time at the cafe, I thought that we were very similar. It was quite surprising because we're doing very different courses, but she actually quoted quite a lot of the readings that I do in my class. And she's done them out of interest, so that was one of my first things. I was like, this might be quite interesting.
When I first met Eve, I was like, archaeology! Because I did a lot of reading of archaeology and a lot of the concepts are what I find to be very interesting. Even though I study art, I think her subject is more interesting.
I think we should be studying each other's subjects. That's what we figured out.
A combination of it.
I guess we're kind of thinking about two kind of concepts to explore. So the first one was the idea of fragments. So because from being from an archaeology background, I guess the idea that when you look at something, it actually has a really long history behind it, and it conjures all these relations that you thought about when you look at an object. It's not just presented as a whole. The other idea that we thought about exploring was souvenirs, to use souvenirs.
Yeah, and the concept of a souvenir is something that transcends time and space. When if you go to different places and you pick up things, and then when you bring that away from the original context, then it kind of has its own life. It would probably be objects and maybe things that you can really take away from the gallery itself, and maybe probably fragments as well.
Yeah. The idea of a souvenir, not just as an icon, but also the concept of a souvenir, that you project your memories onto it and then it becomes more than just an object. Yeah. Sometimes I feel like I'm talking to myself, and then it's we are very, very similar in terms of our interests.
Similar.
Yeah. I guess the only difference between us would be the way that we approach the project. So Ben being from a fine arts background, she has a lot of ideas, I guess, thinking more macro pictures, and then she has a lot makes a lot of connections to all the different concepts that we have. Whereas
Eve is more she approaches them more from the object, the object's kind of point of view.
Yeah. Yeah. So we'll be discussing an idea, and then we have all these really fun, interesting ideas, and I'll be yeah, but how do we tie them down? And it's yeah. So it's just I guess that's the only difference between us.
I think it's quite interesting. It's a very interesting experience because usually in your art context you always talk to other people who are in art and they have a very specific kind of view and response to what you do, but when you're talking to someone else from a different field, the response is completely different, which is very refreshing, I find.